That's decent. Now let's go. I have an exhibition of raw power that I want to showcase to you guys. So my opponent is going to lead out with a Zunjo. I'm going to start things off with my Genesect. Let's go. I get the special attacking boost because Zunjo's attack is greater than the special attack. So now fearing the Thunderbolt, he's going to switch out into his Excadrill thinking like, yo, I'm safe. I got my air balloon, son. I'm all wavy. Nope. I'm swag because I'm Surf. I'm going to go and U-turn out, breaking your air balloon support and getting switch initiative. Now him bringing out his Excadrill actually gave me an idea because I noticed on the team preview that he has a jump left. So I'm going to switch into my loaded, perpetrating that I'm going to try to stay in, but that's not the case. So he buys into the bait, goes into jump low, which is, I'm like, yes, oh my god, everything's working perfectly. So I'm going to switch into Tyranitar. Now, why Tyranitar? What the hell can Tyranitar do? I mean, it's not fast or anything like that, but I got David Blade on my driver's license, man. Not everything is what it seems. So he's going to stay in all confident. I don't want to scare it out because this is what happens. Goes to the sleep powder, safety goggles, baby. I'm blocking him. I can't see no powder. And I'm going to respond back with the Stone Edge and knock him out before Jumpluff gets a chance to do anything. That is crazy. So he brings back in the Zoomer. I got a Weezing, so I'm just going to go into my Weezing to sponge any damage output that the Zoomer may wish to inflict onto anybody on my party. So he goes for the Play Rough. I resist that. And I'm just going to make a double switch here because I know that he's not going to want to stay with the Zoomer. So I'm going to switch into my Genesect again and also use the fact that my Weezing is faster to make a double switch, meaning that Genesect will come in before he makes the switch out, which also means that I am sure to get a special attack boost, which is what took place. So now, here comes the Spiridon. I'm thinking like, yo, wait, hold up, drop the music, check it. I'm +1 with the cannon on my back, and there's no way that he's surviving this attack. Oh my god, yo, let me go on Photoshop and put me some backstage passes for y'all real quick. Y'all ain't ready, man. Yo, cut this music back on. Yo, tell me why Spiridon went for this pain split, fearing that I was going to destroy it with the Genesect. That's kind of almost what happens, but not exactly. So me thinking that he was actually going to go for like another secondary pain split, I decided to take the chance now to go into my Milotic. Now, my Milotic is perfect because I do have Skull, and plus, I'm assuming that a Spiridon also has the Will-O-Wisp, so that's perfect because I do have the Marvel Scale, and I'm trying to inflict a burn onto the Spiridon as well as have my Milotic be the bait for the burn status. So that's great because I can get the plus defense boost even if I don't happen to get the burn from the Skull, which is what I really am aiming for. In addition to me getting a status impalement onto me, he can go for the Will-O-Wisp manually, and that's exactly what he does. So that's great there, that I can actually act as a defensive wall in addition to a special wall, even though Milotic does do the whole special wall thing better than it does defensively. So now I'm going to switch into my Heatran, thinking that, okay, he's going to go for an attacking move now. I can decimate, desecrate, decapitate, destroy, obliterate this thing. I'm thinking with a Choice Specs Overheat. Oh my god, what? Come from another country just to burn you behind. But that doesn't even, take place completely because he survived it. I cannot believe this clown survived it. But it turned out to be a good ordeal because I don't want personally to be in here with a Heatran while he still has a Dragonite intact with multi-scale. That's what I would bring out if I knew that you were like a Choice Specs Heatran. I'll bring that clown out right away. Dragonite, what? DD all day, let's go. So I'm going to switch out into my Genesect now. Instead of trying to finish it off with another Overheat, he tries to take advantage of the fact that I'm Choice Specs and brings in a Zoomer. I'm not staying in, buddy. You got Dragonite. I'm sorry. So now he's going to go for the Waterfall as I bring in a Weezing after I U-turn, inflicting some damage onto it despite it being resistant now thanks to a Zoomer's part Fairy typing. So now he's going to bring in the Spiridon on my Pain Split. It didn't register in my mind at all that he would bring in the Spiridon. I'm thinking like, yo, I'm about to get up some nice little free HP real quick from whatever he decides to bring in, thank the Lord or whatever, but that's not even the case because he brings in the Spiridon and I actually end up losing hit points. That's the first time in a long time that I've used Pain Split and I've been able to take damage from me using Pain Split. How embarrassing is that? Like, real talk, so as a parting gift before I bite the dust with my Weezing, I am going to be able to inflict a burn to it, and what that means is that now it's at a range for Genesect's U-turn to KO. So now he has no choice other than to stay in or allow me to get switch initiative. Pick your poison, buddy. I like how it sounds so confident and arrogant, and at the same time it's him who actually gets the true switch initiative because he happens to stay in and now I'm forced to switch into something. So I'm bringing Gourgiest just because he has both Dragonite and a Zoomer. So if a Zoomer touches me, there goes this huge power, and if Dragonite decides to come in, which it does, and decides to go for the DD because you're cacking the Lumberry, I already know, son, I already know what the deal is, yo. I can go for the Haze to intimidate it from going for the Dragon Dance, and then on the subsequent turn, go for the Will-O-Wisp, knowing that you do have the Lumberry, and then switch out, which is what I do now. So he goes out into Genesect, I predict that and go out into my Heatran, and as much as I wanted to lock myself up to Hidden Power Grass, predicting a Azumarill to come back into play, I thought that Earth Power would be a little bit more universal because I can hit the Genesect, the Excadrill, and the Azumarill for super effective damage, if not neutral damage, on the two being the Azumarill and the Genesect. So he brings in the Excadrill, completely forgetting that I did knock off his air balloon earlier on. He's going to bring in Azumarill after his Excadrill is pushing daisies. I'm going to bring in my Melodic. Thankfully, because of the burn that the Spiridon inflicted onto it earlier, I'm going to take that play rough like it's nothing. So now I know that he's going to want to switch, being that he's locked on to Waterfall presumably, so he's gonna go into Genesect, and I was really expecting the Dragonite to come into play, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna look so cool if I go for the Dragon Tail and I smack the Dragonite in his face. But what happens is that I smack Genesect, and in comes the Dragonite. It's huggable like a Bratz doll, but it's intimidating like a G.I. Joe action figure. This thing will push your stomach in, son. So now he goes for the Dragon Dance, which is actually a great play because I was expecting the Azumarill to come back into play because I'm burned, and if I go for the Dragon Tail on the Azumarill switching, it's not going to affect it, and Azumarill can just finish me off with whatever move it decides to lock itself onto. But he decides to go for a +1, risking the fact that I do have the Dragon Tail. I could just like phase you out and break your multi-scale. I do end up breaking this multi-scale anyway with the Scald, so now that means that I'm able to bring in my Genesect, and despite whether I get an attack or a special attack boost, I'm able to finish it off with the Ice Beam. So now in comes the Azumarill. I'm going to switch in my Gourgiest just so that he loses his huge power effect, and if he happens to stay in with the Azumarill on my Gourgiest and finish it off, I can then bring in my Genesect, get the special attack boost, and lock myself onto Thunderbolt. So I think in a sense that he will bring in his Genesect, and I'm able to inflict some damage onto that, and I'll respond back by bringing in my Tyranitar and go from there. But that does not take place. I happen to go and rest off with the Cheselberry. I think he saw that whole scenario there, so he switched out into Genesect, which is a smart play. I'm going to inflict some residual damage onto it, being the Will-O-Wisp, and then switch out into my Heatran, thinking that he was actually going to switch out this turn. I was looking forward to seeing how much Hidden Power Grass coming from a Choice Specs Heatran will inflict onto the Azumarill. So I was thinking that he would actually switch, but since he doesn't switch, I'm going to lock myself onto Earth Power so that I hit the Azumarill for neutral damage as well as the Genesect. I don't look like a fool going for Hidden Power Grass on a Genesect if he decides to stay in anyway for whatever reason with the locked on Ice Beam. So now I'm able to inflict some damage and then go out into my Gourgiest to again nullify Azumarill's huge power effect, and then afterwards bring in my Tyranitar so that now I'm bringing the Sandstorm, and then now Azumarill, being that it's weakened, I'm going to be able to Pursuit Trap it. You're not going anywhere, buddy. And then the last Pokemon that he's going to have, obviously, is the Burnt Genesect, and I'm able to go and retaliate back with the Stone Edge after he decides on whatever move he decides to lock himself onto. I win anyway because I do have the Heatran, so that was definitely a great game. Definitely had a lot of fun. Peace! What you doing?